Keith. One time. Thurman. We know. We were supposed to have gotten to the Terminator a year ago. Then again a couple of months ago. Hey. We get wrapped up in shit. But y'all know the drill. Before kicking this Thurman shit, we've gotta throw a 10 players holler out to Boricua 9071, Pretty Ricky 1, Zone 6 Boxing, who's the first we saw throw Thurman on the table, and OJ Big Juice on this. Along with several others whose names we no longer have. Since YouTube did some YouTube upgrade tricks and made those old messages vanish. Apparently they thought they was helping us. Even though we didn't ask for their help. And we'd appreciate if you don't fucking help us again. Now we were asked to take a good look at this guy. Good points, bad points, ring flaws and all. We're not cracking flaws, and we'll get to why in a bit, but I'll say what we can, so let's cut the bullshit and get right to it, because we ain't got a fucking hour before answering if he's the real deal. Hey Trouble. Get up that Thurman dissection picture. You ready?
I'm here.
Yeah. Though I was actually talking to the people watching this video. Hey. Thanks. No one wants to see that shit. So bust this. 5'7" or 7.5", orthodox stance, 101 wins in the amateurs, 76 knockouts, 16 losses, 2 to this guy in the Olympic trials, 6 national championships, blah 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 blah, and this doesn't mean much of fucking squat to us. Look. We have a serious problem when it comes to looking up facts and stats, and we've had this problem for ages. We want facts and links to them on one credible site, and we're tired of having to check at least 3 sources. And guess what? 3 motherfuckers can still be wrong. We've seen the shit. But that and the solution to it's another video. When we dissect a fighter we want more details. Not surface bullshit. We want to dissect shit down to the bone. Thurman lost 16 fights in the amateurs. Well, to fucking who? How, when, where and why? We wanna know. And wanna know what the guys he's lost to did. We wanna click names and get real stats, not empty pages. We know he lost twice to this guy. We wanna compare these 2 guys' bio machines. But apparently motherfuckers can put down Thurman's reach and not this guy's. Like, is it a damn secret? So we gotta flop around like fish out of water to find it? We find it annoying, but we'll talk about that and the way to fix it in another video. Professional career. Undefeated, 24 wins, hey put that pic back up. 21 by knockout, no splits or draws. Legs. A+. Footwork. Crap. Jab, C-. Ring stamina. A-. Guts in the ring. A-. Hand speed. B+. That means above average but not the best. Punching power. Excellent, A+. Ring experience, B-. Improvement rate, A+. Just our opinion. And we've got no idea what the fuck his record might be if you're catching this video late. So let's get this shit crackin' right out the box. Keith Thurman's the real motherfucking deal. And not because of that stat crap. We'll get to why in a bit, along with his 3 biggest welter challenges in our view, and the fighter that has the best chance of knocking Thurman the fuck out. Thurman can fight, no hype about it. Not even a dash. And don't get it twisted, because if fans were calling Thurman an ATG or the greatest in history, we'd be saying fuck outta here. He's got work to do. But that's not Thurman's deal. Instead there's fans claiming he's not even worthy of fighting a guy when he's the fucking guy's mandatory. So there's no hype. He's been getting pushed aside by top fighters. When fans speak on Thurman potentially being one of or the best, the comments from doubters and Thurman haters is that he hasn't fought anyone. Apparently they're missing the point. Like they know he hasn't fought the best. That's why they're saying it. And why there's a little thing called betting. And when we haven't seen a guy against the best, we observe what he does with the competition he's facing while clocking his momentum. We question whether his performances are repetitive, or is he improving each fight? Does he adjust, or fight the same fight each time? When it comes to adjusting, only a ring mind can. That's a fighter incorporating principles instead of drilled techniques. Fighters that can't become like the tiger that can't change its stripes, and fact is, most can't in the ring. Muscle memory has control over them, so they'll do the same habitual shit from the first round on. Even though the dumb shit ain't working. That's not Thurman. See, we watched the Bundu fight, and it seems a lot of fans decided Thurman's a hype job. Because he won in what we thought was a shutout, but didn't knock him out. These would be the same fans that think Mayweather's the greatest fighter in the world, yet don't claim Mayweather would have knocked Bundu out. Strange. Personally, we was impressed to see he could adjust and simply box when the knockout's not coming, rather than blowing his energy wad and ending up getting knocked the fuck out instead. That fight answered questions, and left some. Like, will Thurman go for the knockout next time it's not there, because he recalls the crowd booing after that fight? So we're saying one thing to Thurman. Fuck the crowd. If the KO comes it comes, but don't let your ass end up on the canvas trying to impress motherfuckers, because those same fucks will be insulting you anyway if you do. So what's he bring to the ring? Well, most call Thurman a boxer puncher. Sure, he can box, but we see a fighter. Thurman's not some boxer trying to outslick trick or devastate with the jab. And we sure the fuck question his chin. But the big talks, Thurman hasn't fought top level competition. True. But he's fought decent enough competition to know he can fight. It's actually top level opposition that hasn't fought him. Why the fuck's that? Partly money. But ultimately, any welter would fight Thurman if some magic fairy sprinkled magic dust over their head and guaranteed they'd knock him the fuck out in the first round. So in the big picture the money shit's just an excuse, because any half-decent trainer knows what the fuck they're looking at when they see a beast in the ring. We're not talking about some fighter knocking out guys but has slow hands and bricks for feet. Or stops guys but his face always looks like a truck ran over it. Most trainers know if a guy could be trouble for his fighter. Especially if his fighter's his human ATM machine. Shit like that don't come around every day. Unless you're Heyman. And he ain't no trainer. So trainers ain't giving their guy up so some damn Keith Thurman can fuck up their cash flow. That's why he ain't fighting the best. Crazy thing is, he might not be that good, but shows enough to be avoided. Now before we get to what he brings to the ring, we wanna say this. We don't do film study. Because all y'all who know 10 players already know. We're too lazy for shit like that. Some do good studies, but too many do fanboy stuff. Every fighter has a weakness, or glitch to be exposed. So we don't care for hearing about how brilliant a fighter is, how he slips the jab, rolls with punches, and how smart he really is, then the fucking video ends, and all the fanboys of that fighter rave over the shit. You just made him feel real good. We got no time for showing a bunch of clips of guys doing good shit, while not showing the stupid shit he did 15 seconds before. Fanboy highlights are great, but when seriously laying bets you need to know the real pros and cons of a fighter. Pro gamblers don't give a fuck who wins, just picking the right winner. If the winning number's 7, they're not gonna start arguing about how 9's better. Because they like how 9 looks. Because 9 reminds them of their childhood. Because they like 9's reality show skin color and the way 9 gets the ladies. Fuck's that about? You better frame a picture of 9 if you love it so much, then drop the fucking money on 7. So why we saying this? Because Thurman almost tempted us to do a little film study. There's just 2 problems. 1. To reveal what can be exposed about Thurman's not fair. So we won't reveal ways to beat this guy. Who takes that seriously or not's irrelevant to us, because an opposing trainer with half a brain would use that shit, and wouldn't give us a fucking dime. And 2. Well, you already know. We're too lazy for that shit. Here's what we'll do though. We'll tell a little of what he brings to the ring we've seen, and show a few clips. But it ain't no film study. Now Thurman's got good timing, patience, 12-round capability, extremely dangerous power in both hands, can stop you with either to the head or body, has an axe and a bullet body blow, and can knock you out with each of those shots. And we're talking about a fighter with a ring mind. As for his jab. Think pool stick when it comes to an effective jab. You know that nice pop cracking sound when a motherfucker breaks? Well, Thurman ain't got no pool stick. How to spot that's another video, but for pure boxers, the jab's like a sniper's bullet. Not Thurman. We see no threat to it. Pretty much looks like crap to us. Just our view, because some compliment it, but Thurman's jab's no bullet. It's a tool he uses as a scope to range find paw and set up the lethal death blow. And once you're in range, he releases power shots that aren't sniper bullets. They're missiles. That's all we see from the Thurman jab. Keeping you at bay to set you up to unload missiles. 1 time's what he's baiting you into. He's got boxer puncher ability, but ain't winning fights with his jab. He might not be the strongest welter, but still the hardest hitter to us. That may sound like a contradiction, but having the best knockout power doesn't mean a fighter's physically the strongest. Thurman has serious power, but our knockout artists stopping damn near everyone could be weaker than a fighter who doesn't. Knocking a guy out's about knowing where power and energy generates and how to place your shots and when. It doesn't necessarily mean the guy who's a knockout artist can bench press more than the guy who's not. A weaker fighter who comprehends generating from the legs, hip, shoulder, back, can knock motherfuckers out without being the strongest. Take Bradley. No power, most say. Well, we'd bet Bradley's probably one of the strongest and can lift a load, but puts little body in it. He boxes. There's no power in the slap shit. Not because he's weak, but his delivery. Against Pac in their second fight he came with knockout intent, but wasn't throwing power shots properly. And you don't get up for one fight deciding you're suddenly a knockout artist. Bradley wasn't adapted to it. Thurman is. And in all fairness to Bradley, we saw some serious improvement with his delivery against Chavez. But some guys are strong yet can't deliver knockouts due to how they throw. While some weaker can because they know exactly how to throw. Thurman has both qualities. Missiles mean nothing if you ain't got a launcher. Thurman does. See that turn? See that body? He's channeling from the legs up to deliver a death blow, and can do it with both hands. To the midsection, there's a delay before motherfuckers feel the pain. We usually call that the bullet, but Thurman delivers missiles. We've seen this guy drop fighters without his feet even being planted. The guy delivers power, and from either hand, head to body. It's what fans want to see from Thurman. 10 players as well. So why the fuck was we impressed with the Bundu fight? Simple. Because some motherfuckers ain't gonna stand in front of his launcher, and using his jab to get him in range to unload missiles won't work. That's when you need to box. Thurman's also a mover. We're talking a guy we've seen knock out stalkers. Lots of boxers win fights on points while being stalked, and runners what a lot of fans call him. You know why fans don't call Thurman a runner even moving away? Because he ends up knocking a motherfucker out. Thurman moving away means nothing if he ain't hurt, and he remains dangerous even if he is. Thurman's the real deal. Strange things, we feel any of the top 5 welters has a chance to beat him. That's why the division's heated. Any of them can win, lose, or get a split. But the top 3 threats in our views, this guy, and this guy. And expect at least one in the top 5 to get knocked out by Thurman. And yet, we know. Maidana turned down the Thurman fight, because Thurman was too much of a threat. I'd suggest turning down that fight too if I was Chino's team. Because Thurman's the real deal. Motherfuckers in the business usually know it before a guy fights an A-level opponent. If they're gonna face a war in the ring, then they want a war payday. Yet Chino's still his biggest knockout threat to us. The Ironies, Thurman's also his. But take a look at this for yourself. Bingo. Bingo, bingo. Bingo. And lots of orthodox fighters keep the left down when popping back to reset, but Thurman's a sitting duck for fast aggressive fighters. And a sitting duck for the knockout shot. But when it comes to flaws, well, flaws are characteristics repetitive in every fight. Like this guy. Incredible talent. Yet repeats the same dumb shit in every fight. Whether he's fighting a bum or this guy. And he ain't got a ring mind. Thurman does. So seeing Thurman do some shit in the ring against one opponent, doesn't mean he'll do the same against another. However, we do see things we feel opponents can capitalize on. And we ain't telling. But we'll say this. There's 3 things we'd train a fighter to do if they was facing Thurman. And one concerns his feet. He's got good legs. So do frogs. It doesn't mean they have good footwork. Which has nothing to do with bouncing the fuck around for 12 rounds. He's a waiter of opportunities, who'll capitalize when they come, but not a creator of them, which comes from great footwork. Angles, positioning, fucking up their rhythm and balance, and forcing your opponent into bad situations. Footwork's another video, but depends on his opponent and how good of a foot reader they are. A skilled boxer can fight half the fight glancing down, and legs tell you what the fuck a fighter's gonna do. See, Thurman's a mover in the ring, and this can be a problem against ring mind fighters. Many trainers won't mention it, but Clock who does. And we ain't speaking on it here since we're not talking ring skills in a place where knuckleheads walk in talking about who does and don't know boxing. Idiots. But we'll ask this before we wrap this up. What's this guy about to throw? Because we can assure you what he's about to throw he hasn't thrown yet. The legs are telling, and good old Jack ain't watching them. Shit's like puckering up before getting ready to kiss. And Thurman does quite a bit of puckering. Offense follows the legs, not vice versa. The legs will always make their move before the punch if a fighter isn't stationary, and few boxers have deceptive feet. That means legs that don't tell what's coming. And deceptive feet tend to mean deceptive hands. See, we can tell you what the average fighter will do before they do it just by clocking their lower half, from the right left uppercut to jab. So can an adept martial artist. And we hate to be a paradox, meaning giving info while not giving info, but we won't tell the story of Thurman's feet. Yet we see a few quirks, and that's just one. Good news is, most won't. And we still have questions about Thurman. Like, why'd he lose twice to this guy before going pro? And was it the result of a habit and quirk he still has? Does a guy with length using range while extending that jab bother him? Thurman's not exactly some Tyson type of mauler digging on the inside, so against a Kell Brook, if Brook decides to clinch, hug and hold all night, then let off straight extended jabs to the face each break with his pool stick. How'll he handle that, because Brook ain't no little boy? Will it end looking like this? At the same time, Thurman's got the best chance of stopping any of the threats mentioned. But who we'd actually favor in those fights we'll speak on if they ever happen. That's if we're asked. As for Mayweather, if he stops Floyd, it could be a body blow, because Thurman throws a axe, but he's gotta catch him on the move, because nothing he throws cracks the shell in our view. But we expect Floyd to pop Thurman moving to the right and counter constantly, especially when Thurman finishes his attack while being squared. Because Thurman's fast but he ain't quick. Mayweather is. But Mayweather's getting older. In 2 years we see few threats. Currently we see challenges for him, because we say Thurman knocks out more than one of these guys, but more than one of these guys beats him if he can't knock him out. Personally, we want to see Thurman tested against Bradley. Because Thurman's a beast. But we see a beast still going through puberty. We know he's facing this guy, and if he wins 147 better be on alert. However, Bradley's like an upgraded version of Bundu. And if not these guys, Bradley's the man to make Thurman become the man that the man will have to face. Whoever that man may be when that time comes to prove who the real man is.